Hey everyone, Kelly Dean Allen here with you again. Simple question for you. What rock and roll band, and that's key, rock and roll band, had a #1 hit, 14 top 40 hits, 19 overall hits on the top 100 Billboard charts during the late 60s and early 70s, with a total of over 60 million albums sold, yet still isn't in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? The Guess Who? That's who. Shameful, really. And what's more shameful is that they're rarely even brought up in the conversation every February when everyone gets all up in arms about their favorite band getting snubbed once again in place of a hip-hop, pop, or country artist. You know, thank God for people like Dolly Parton, who recently refused the nomination because, as she said, I'm not deserving of it, as I'm not, nor have I ever been, rock and roll. That is integrity, right? Regardless, rant over. Let's close in here a little bit. Have a look at how to play one of those top 40 hits from the Guess Who with Laughing, a cut from the band's 1969 album Canned Wheat, #1 in Canada and reaching as high as #10 in the US. All right then, Laughing and the Guess Who from 1969. We were in standard tuning for this tutorial, and this one has that nice quiet intro that goes a little something like this, right? That right there, right? So we're starting with a little A major triad here in the top 3 strings. 6, 5, 5. We're going to lightly brush down the top 3 strings. And then catch the high E 3 times, nice and lightly on the upstroke. You're going to repeat that 3 times, twice before the vocals come in. Then we're going to take this 5 of the B and we're chromatically going to ride it up to 8. So we're going to drop our ring finger on the 6 while still holding this little position here, right? Drop your ring finger on the 6 of the B and do the same thing. And then move it up to 7. And then drop your pinky on 8. Always those 3 notes, right, on the high E on the upstroke. 3 times, and then drop onto 6, move it up to 7, and then drop your pinky on 8. And then back it off to 7. And then we're going to drop into this little F chord here, a little D shape at the 5th fret position. Same thing. And then back it up 1 spot to E, and lightly strum it, right? Again, just another little D shape now at the 4th fret. Right? And then we drop into the second half of the verse, which is played more aggressively. So we're going to drop off to an E major chord here, all 6 strings. With that kind of strumming, right? And then we're going to play the same little pattern here, right? But now we're going to play with an A major chord and ride the high E string from open to 1 to 2 to 3. So we're basically just strumming the top 4 strings here, A major, but you have to hold this A major with your middle ring and pinky because you're going to need your index to drop onto the 1. Now if you catch the open A here, fine, right? Because we're holding an A. Now when you do the shift from 1 to 2, you're going to have to shift into a bar because you don't have any more fingers, right? Or maybe you can roll it down, kind of like that, but then you got to move up to 3, right? So it's best to drop right into a bar here, right in the middle of this progression. Drop onto 1, and then shift to a bar, and then drop onto the 3 with that bar. Right, and then we're going to drop into a D major 7, and then back off to F, and then off to an E major. So D major 7, Full bar on the 5th fret, top 5 strings, ring finger on 7 of the D, middle finger on 6 of the G, and pinky down here on 7 of the B. Right, with that kind of strumming. And then back off to this little D-shaped F. You can get to the open D with that as well. And then off to E major, and just strum it, right? And that leads into the chorus. So that's the progression during the verses. A major, and then we're going to ride that high E string from open to 1 to 2 to 3. Right into the D7, off to F, off to E major. Right, and then we drop into the chorus with this little progression: 4 of the A, 2 of the D, 1 of the G. Right, and then we're going to go D to A. And now there's 2 guitars going on here. One is going from D to A to this little B minor triad right here, right? 4, 4, 3, but along with the open A. And kind of just catching this on the upstroke, so you're not really getting a whole lot of that open A in there. Kind of like that, right? And you're kind of catching it on the upstroke. D, A, ba, 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 D, A, ba, 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 ba. So you repeat that twice, D to A, and drop into that little B minor triad. And then back to D, off to E major, and back to A. Right, and then repeat. D, E major, and then right back to this again, right? So there's also a whole lot of little fill lines that are going on here throughout the chorus. Like I said, 2 guitars. Well, one is going B, A, ba, 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 into B minor. The other is playing a lick every time the other guitar goes into B minor. That lick right there. Double hit on the 2nd fret of the D onto 4. Down to a double hit on the 2 of the G. And then just a little back and forth here between the 2 of the G and the 4 of the D, finishing on the 4 of the D. Right, and then D to E. And then back to A, and then there's another lick that he plays here. That lick right there. So 4 of the D, we're kind of sliding into it, and then 2 onto 4 of the G, sliding it into 6. Back off to 2, back onto 4, and then you're going to roll that up to 4 of the D. And then a quick little trill between 2 and 4 of the G. Grab that 4 of the D back to the 2. Right? Into the next verse, same as the first. Vocals. E major. And then A major, right? Drop your pinky on 1, shift to a bar, drop on 3, high E, D7, F, off to E, right? Play those 3 notes. Now, near the end of this track, we're just going to go from D to A over and over again. one of the guitars is, right? Until fade out, while the other is playing this lick. So. So we're going D to A. Now we're doing a little trill between 3 and 5 of the B, grabbing the 4 of the G, and then damp back to a double hit on that 3 of the B, and then back to 4. Right? And that just continues until fade out. And there you go. That is how you play Laughing by the Guess Who, Burton Cummings and Randy Bachman. Certainly hope you enjoyed that, found it helpful. If you did, please hit that like button right down there. Maybe drop me a subscribe if you haven't done that already, as that would be very kind. Hope you're well out there in your little guitar corner of the world, wherever that may find you, and we will see you next time. I'm out of here. I'm going to vote for the Guess Who, for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. If I had a vote, I would do that. God, that shouldn't, but it really bothers me. If you have a vote out there, anybody, vote for the Guess Who, will you? Next time, next February. And you guys take care of yourselves. Cheers.